Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. I am having a great time studying up on this 100th year of the New York Giants, going back in time and trying to cover what their franchise did in their early days, and we're trying to work our way up till today. And had some great historians on over the last 4 years on Pigskin Dispatch podcast, and we thank you, the listeners, for paying attention and listening and supporting us through this endeavor. And we are going back and grabbing some old recordings, and we're making some new recordings of some of these people that affected the New York Giants and made history with the New York Giants. Now, one player that we've talked a little bit about for their first season, that really big game in 1925 of Red Grange, we had Chris Willis, who was the biographer of the book Red Grange, the NFL's first legacy superstar. Chris has that. You can look in the show notes. I probably messed the name up of his book, but we have a link for you to get to that book of Chris. But Chris talked a little bit about Grange in that first year with that big game of 70,000 and helping the financial wherewithal of the club in the first year. But the second year, Red Grange also affected the Giants and their history. He never played for the Giants, but he had some big moments in franchise history. I'll let Chris, the expert, tell you more about Red Grange in 1926.
When Red sort of left school and turned pro, he really signed a 3-year deal with Pyle. So the Bears, after this Barnstorming tour, had to renegotiate sort of with Pyle and Red about playing in 1926. Red was okay. He was like, I'll play for the Bears. I liked it. It was great. The teammates are great. House is, great. But Pyle wanted a bigger share of the money. So he asked for a third of the ownership. House had a partner with Dutch Tournament. Well, House flipped out. He's like, no, we'll split the income and the gate and whatever. And you can get, we can split that, but not ownership of the team. So he said, no way. So Pyle just said, okay, we'll just go get our own team, But what happened is a lot of the owners didn't like Pyle. Pyle was all about trying to get money, trying to get as much of the pie for him and Red. And this sort of turned off some of the owners. Well, they didn't want Red to leave. So they had a negotiation at an NFL owners meeting in early 1926, sort of after the tour. And they had a rule in the NFL of what was called a territorial rights. So when you had a franchise, you couldn't have somebody play in that area the same day, to take your gate away, because the gate attraction was what made you your money. It was how many fans you had. So Tim Mara, who owned the New York Giants, who a year before said, hey, I got this, unique franchise in the city of New York. Now all of a sudden, C.C. Pyle wants to come in and put a team in there. Well, he knew if that happened, all the fans would go see Red Grange play, with the New York team, with Red and CC Pyle. They wouldn't come to see the New York Giants. So Mara did not like how Pyle was just going to, steamroll him for this franchise. He said, no, I'm not going to give him a franchise. The league president, Joe Carr, and the owners backed him. Like, look, this is why we have franchises. We don't want these things to happen where, one team's going to fail, one team's going to succeed. So Pyle ended up saying, you know what? Screw you guys. I'll just start. I got the biggest star. I got Yankee Stadium. He had a 5-year lease with Yankee Stadium. I'm going to just start. So they started their own league.
Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.